Today we are going to see how to multiply fractions. Right, so multiplying is very simple when compared to addition and subtraction. Right, what are the steps involved in multiplying fractions? Say for example we are given two fractions, 3 by 4 and 1 by 2. We need to multiply these two fractions. So the first step is multiply the numerators. So just multiply the numerator by the numerator. So what we'll do, we'll multiply 3 with 1. So I will get 3. Right, so 3 is the numerator of the product of these two fractions. What is the next step? We multiply the denominator. Right, so 4 times 2 is 8. Right, so we multiply the numerator and then we multiply the denominator, so we get the answer. This is 3 by 8. So the product of 3 by 4 and half is 3 by 8. Let us try to solve this question. 4 by 5 and 1 by 4. We have to calculate the product. Right, so 4 times 1 is 4 and 5 times 4 is 20. So I'll get 4 by 20. Now 4 by 20, both of them has 4 as a common factor. So we can divide both sides by 4. So we'll get 1 by 5. Right. Now notice that first what I'm doing, I'm dividing both sides by 4. Right. I'm multiplying both sides by 4 and then later I'm dividing both sides by 4. So this is a type of redundant effort that I'm putting in, which is wasting my time. So there is one way in which we can avoid this duplication of steps. Right. That is also something that we are going to discuss later. So what we have here, say for example, even if I have two fractions or three fractions, so 4 by 5 multiplied by 3 by 8 multiplied by 1 by 7. So I have three fractions, I have to multiply them. So again, the step remains the same. We first multiply the numerators. So 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 1 is 12. Right? 5 times 8 is 40. Right? 40 times 7 is 280. Right, both of them has 2 as common factor, so when we divide both of them by 2, we'll get 6 upon 140. Again, both of them has 2 as a common factor, so we'll divide both of them and get 3 upon 70. Right, so again, this is a redundant effort that I'm putting in. So again, in the later slide, we'll see there's a step that we can use to avoid this redundant exercise. Okay. Before that, we'll see how do we multiply a mixed fraction with a proper fraction or even an improper fraction. Right, so what is the step? The only thing is that we just need to convert this to an improper fraction. Then the process remains as it is. So 2 fours are 8, 8 plus 1 is 9. Right, so we converted this to an improper fraction. So we got 9 by 4. Now we just have to multiply this with half as if we were doing the other multiplications. So 9 times 1 is 9 and 4 times 2 is 8. Right, so this is an improper fraction. So we convert this back to a mixed fraction. So this becomes 1 by 8. Right. So this is the answer. Next, we have some special cases. Like I mentioned, there were some redundant efforts that we tried to put in when we are multiplying fractions. How do we explain this process or special case? So for example, 2 by 3 multiplied by 3 by 4. Right? So I have 2 by 3 multiplied by 3 by 4. If I use the conventional way, what I'll do, I'll multiply the numerator with numerator. So 2 3s are 6 and 3 4s are 12. Now I notice that both of them has 6 as a common factor, so I'll divide both sides by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1 and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So half is the answer. This way. Right, so there is one more way in which we can solve this. So before even multiplying, we just check whether the numerator and denominator have something in common. So we are not only limited to these two, we are also checking for this two and then this two and then this two. Right, so we have to check whether this numerator has something in common with this denominator or this numerator has something in common with this denominator. And we can cancel that first. Similarly, we'll check whether this numerator has something in common with this denominator or this has something in common with this denominator. Right, so we'll see that 2 and 3 have nothing in common, but 2 and 4 have 2 in common. How do we divide it? So we divide 2 by 2 and then represent a cross, right? This symbol to show that we have divided. So 2 ones are 2 and 2 twos are 4. So when we would have divided this fraction by 2, we would have got 1 as the answer. When we would have divided 4 by 2, we would have got 2 as the answer. So this is the same thing, right? Then similarly, 3 and 3, these two are divisible. So 3 ones are 3 and 3 ones are 3. How does this equation change now? So it becomes 1 by 1. So this is 1 by 1 multiplied by 1 by 2. And how do we multiply such fractions? We multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. So this becomes half. So half is the answer. Right, let us try to solve another question. So we have 5 by 6 and 2 by 3. So first we'll check, is there anything common between 5 by 6 and 5 and 6? No, nothing is common. Is there anything common between 5 and 3? Nothing is common. Is there anything common between 2 and 6? Yes, 2 is common. So we divide both of them by 2. So 2 ones are 2 and 2 threes are 6. Is there anything else in common? Because it became 1, it will have nothing in common. Right? No number other than 1. Right? So what we'll do, we have cancelled the common factors. Now we multiply the remaining parts. What are the remaining parts? In the numerator, 5 times 1, which is 5. Right? So numerator is 5. What about the denominator? Denominator is 3 times 3, which is 9. Right? So numerator becomes 5, denominator becomes 9. So this is the answer.